Are the Sixers the best team in the East? What do you think?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Perk.
What do they records say? It says it do. They standing at the top. And here's the thing. First of all, let me start off by apologizing and saying I'm sorry to Joel Embiid, because I started off the season like I wasn't familiar with his game, and I am familiar with his game. Joel Embiid is the best player in the Eastern Conference. No disrespect to Jason Tatum and no disrespect to Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're talking about the guy that is the former MVP, the reigning MVP. We're talking about the guy that led the league in scoring 2 straight years. Matter of fact, he's leading the league in scoring right now.
31.7.
And so when I think about the Philadelphia 76ers, they got the cancer out the locker room. I'm watching this team right now, and I'm watching them play with great joy. I love the pickup of Nicholas Batum. I love what he brings to the table. And I want to apologize again, because I am familiar with Nick Nurse, a guy that brought a championship, a coach that brought a championship to Toronto. And Tyrese Maxey, standing on business. And I said this yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it right now. Not only is Tyrese Maxey doing his thing and auditioning to get a big payday this upcoming offseason, not only is Tyrese Maxey auditioning to show the world that he should be in the conversation with the likes of Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, but Tyrese Maxey is on the verge of saving the Philadelphia 76ers. Because Joel Embiid, if I'm Joel Embiid,
You ain't leaving Maxey.
I'm not leaving Maxey. I'm not leaving Maxey. And the way that this team is constructed right now, I have to say, and me looking at the lack of depth that the Celtics got, and all the things that are going on in Milwaukee, and when I say all the things, I'm looking at them, the chemistry is not there. I know it's going to take time, but this team right now, the Philadelphia 76ers, they're for real. And right now, I must say, I have to apologize to them because we crowned the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. But as of right now today, hell yeah, they're the best team in the East.
If you're saying today, I don't think anybody can disagree with you. They just beat Boston, who they were tied with for the best record in the East. And obviously they won last night, so I get where you're coming from. But in terms of overall being the best team in the East, I'm going to still go with Boston instead of Philadelphia. But I will tell you this. Here's the reason why you look at Philadelphia the way that you are. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, they're the only duo in the league averaging 25 and 5. So that's number one. Tyrese Maxey, the best in the NBA. Catch and shoot threes, 74%, 14 to 19 from threes. Catch and shoot threes with a minimum of 15 attempts, obviously, by the way. Tyrese Maxey is just balling, and he's putting them on notice. Listen, that was one of the reasons I was encouraging them to get rid of James Harden. I'm like, wait a minute. Give the ball to Tyrese Maxey. I think he's ready. Let him show you that he's ready. And then when you look at his assist-to-turnover ratio, 6.13 to 1. Assist-to-turnover ratio. The brother is balling right now. And then you got Nick Nurse. You just gave him love. They were the 12th slowest pace in the NBA last year. Now they're the 12th fastest in terms of pace. So they're getting more opportunities. They're pushing the ball up the court. They're playing at a faster pace. Give credit where credit is due. But I'm still not going to say they're better than Boston over one regular season win. I think when you look at Boston's collective starting 5, I think that's more potent than Philadelphia right now. It's just that Embiid and Maxey are playing at an elite level. And we got to give them their props and their love. Can you sustain that over the course of an entire regular season? And finally, get yourself out of the Eastern Conference semifinals playoffs. Come talk to me when they do that. I don't think they do that yet. Come talk to me when they do that.
That's the part, Stephen A. And listen, we can make this a whole Maxey moment, Maxey segment, whatever you want to call it. He has 8 turnovers in 7 games so far this season. He has been terrific and deserves to get paid, and Joel Embiid should not leave him. But I'm not quite ready to go there in terms of this being the best team in the East. Perk, I like the way you hedged it, as Stephen A. has taught us. Do you believe that today? Fine. But when we talk big picture, I'm actually still banking that the Milwaukee Bucks figure this thing out. It has not been good to start. It has been very clunky. But to a degree, we should have expected that because you got a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard who have played with the basketball in their hands. And defensively, they have a plethora of issues right now. However, it's still very early. And I think when I look at that roster, that experience, a former MVP, a champion, the whole bit in terms of what they have, I think the Bucks will be the best team in the East down the stretch.
Well, let me counter both of y'all and say this. one thing about Tyrese Maxey on the defensive side of things, I watched him last night. Hell of a chase down block, I believe it was, on Drew Holiday. Switched on Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown tried the tomato chest. He took the contact, offensive foul, went verticality on another play. Derrick White got a big block. So his defensive impact is another thing. Secondly, Tobias Harris is balling right now. He's averaging about 19 points, shooting 60% from the field. Now, here's the thing that I will say. The 76ers can get better. See, that trade for James Harden, right? Like, you get Nicholas Batum, you get Covington, you get Marcus Morris, and you get some assets, okay?
Yep.
Now, you could wait. You could wait because now Philadelphia is eye candy. And we all know that Daryl Morey is one of the most aggressive GMs ever in the history of the NBA. And he's not afraid to pull the trigger. So now when you get closer to the trade deadline, right? And you starting to see those other disgruntled stars out there, like a DeMar DeRozan, like a Zach LaVine, maybe a Pascal Siakam, and you can add a piece because remember, the Philadelphia 76ers, it's not that much, before the season started, I said this, it's not that much separation between them and the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks right now. But as of right now, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference because they have the best player in the Eastern Conference in Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid's leading the league in scoring right now. Last 2 years he's averaging 31.7 now. We get all of that. But in the same breath, let's not act like there's an ocean apart. I mean, Giannis did average 31 and 12 last year. I mean, he was right there for crying out loud.
Yeah. And got a first-round exit.
And he's no slouch right now.
He was injured.
We know the talent that is Joel Embiid, and we know the talent that is Tyrese Maxey. But as the season wanes and attrition kicks in, we've seen Giannis elevate. We've seen Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown elevate. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen that from Joel Embiid yet. I know how big time he is, but he's got something to prove. And the 8th or 9th game into the season ain't cutting it for me. We know what he can do this time of year. What you doing in May and June? That's what May, actually, because he hasn't seen June. We got to find that out.
Oops.
Monica, let me ask you this, dive in further here. Is Harden's departure the primary reason for Philly's success?
Yeah, I would say so. I simply put, Molly, just because you now have an organization that is all pulling in the same direction. I praised James Harden endlessly last year for shifting his game in order to play more of a point guard role as facilitator as opposed to scorer. Tons of credit. But at this point, he had become a huge distraction, taking up space, taking up energy, like it's just not working. Now everybody's pulling in the same direction. Tyrese Maxey has been unleashed. I agree with you, Perk, on 2 things that you said today in terms of Maxey, and I have long thought that there was something there, or there was more there, I should say, with Tobias Harris in terms of the opportunity to contribute to this Sixers squad. So, yeah, you clean it up and everybody can move in one direction.
Let me say this about James Harden, and if he's watching, that I hope he accepts this in the spirit that is given, because I'm not trying to insult him. I'm just trying to highlight the narrative. There's no question about James Harden's ability to play.
Correct.
There's a whole bunch of questions about his willingness to play. When Kendrick Perkins comes on national television and he goes off about James Harden the way he did to start off the show, you didn't go off on him, Perk, because of his abilities. You went off because there was evidence showing you that he hadn't shown up at key pivotal moments he was supposed to show up. You show up, if you can drop 40-plus in a game 2 and in a game 5, what the hell was wrong with you in game 6 and 7? That's really the issue, and that's what we're talking about. So if you're watching James Harden, that's the issue. It's people literally saying you quit. And you didn't care, or you had other things you cared about more than care about performing in a key pivotal moment. That's the demon that he has to eradicate against his name, more so than his ability, Perk.
No, I agree. And I'm not going to keep beating on James Harden because, like our brother Marcus Spears always say, once a person show you who they are, you got to believe them. And
well, actually, Marcus Spears stole that from Maya Angelou.
Maya
The great
Angelou.
Maya
Angelou. He says it on TV a lot. Like, he the one that brought it.
But he needs to say, I got it from
Maya
Maya
Angelou.
Angelou. That's all we trying to say.
That as well,
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, but we love Big Perk.
All I know is right now, the 76ers, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, in my Drewski boys, they standing on business.